There's a joint United Kingdom and Ireland bid for the 2028 Euros, Gab. But some of the stadium on the shortlist seen by the Times are a bit of a surprise, right?
Yeah, so it's odd, right? It's odd who's not there. England will have 6 stadiums in the World Cup.
The Euros. Yeah.
The Euros. It's not going to be Anfield. It's not going to be Stamford Bridge because their pitch is too small. It doesn't match UEFA regulations. They get special dispensation for the Champions League. Yeah. It's not going to be Leeds and Elland Road. The other ones, usual suspects. So Wembley, the London Stadium where West Ham play, Villa Park, Old Trafford, the Etihad. Bramley-Moore Dock, which hasn't, as far as I know, doesn't exist yet. Maybe they're in the process of building it. Well, they are in the process of building it, right? Be. That's where Everton's going to play. But they don't even know what it's going to look like. And the weird one for me is Stadium MK, which is in Milton Keynes. It's where the MK Dons play. Yeah. It's about an hour from London. But it's a small stadium.
Yeah, it is.
I've never been there, but I'm assuming it's, 30,000 tops?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. 25, I think.
I don't know if they just added in the list, like, let's have some diversity. If I had to guess, I think you're looking at the usual suspects. You're looking at Wembley, Villa Park, definitely. Probably St. James's for history. Manchester and Liverpool,
they're too much.
Bramley-Moore, I only think they're going to have one stadium in Manchester. They're not going to have both.
But by then, the new Everton Stadium would be built, right? So what? They can't apply? They can't.
So no, but that's Bramley-Moore Dock, right?
Oh yeah,
so that's going to be. I would assume it's going to be that, but it's kind of an odd one to me, anyway. Oh, and another thing, Jules. When I look at this list, there's a stadium which, for me, is when you combine location within London and quality of stadium, is the one that stands above all the others, and that is the Emirates. It's a stadium which is, I think, together with Stamford Bridge, the closest to central London, and I think this matters at the Euros, corporates, and whatever else. Yeah. I think it has tremendous sightlines. It's a 60,000 seat stadium. Is Tottenham Stadium a better stadium in absolute terms? Maybe it's newer. Maybe it's nicer. But I think it's definitely a better stadium than Wembley, and it's definitely a better stadium than the London Stadium, which, again, I'm sure my bias about where I live, but those are much further away. Yeah. Why not the Emirates?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if maybe the club didn't think that it was a good thing for them that summer. Maybe they didn't fancy it. Maybe I don't know, the FA wanted other stadiums to be nominated or something. I'm not really sure. I don't know if you take on an organization of games like that in a competition like the Euros or the World Cup, I don't know for what it means for clubs. I would like to know, if you're a club, what do you have to pay for stewarding? What do you have to pay?
No. You end up coming ahead. You end up definitely coming out ahead. It's many times they'd pay for certain refurbishments and then put them back.
But is there a negative aspect to organize those games, or you think it's all
unless
positive?
You're gonna schedule a Grateful Dead tour there or something in the middle of the summer? I would have thought no. But if we had to look at this list, if we had to guess, I handicapped it a little bit before, right? So, all right, definites are Wembley, I would assume.
Yeah.
We'll have 2 stadiums in London, right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's going to be Wembley and the London Stadium for the simple reason, one north and one east. So Spurs would miss out, which I think is a shame. It's a great stadium.
Yeah, one of the 3 will miss out, and it won't be Wembley. So either,
Yeah. I'm assuming you're going to have a stadium in the Midlands, and Villa Park is the only Midlands stadium that they have here.
3.
One in the northeast.
Yeah.
I think I really like both St. James Park and the Stadium of Light.
Yeah. You can only have one of the 2, really.
Do we lean St. James Park because it dominates the city and better railings and whatever? So that brings us to 4.
Yeah.
And now you get into, there'll be one in Manchester, 100%.
It has to be Old Trafford. That is...
But all our Mancunian friends tells you how derelict Old Trafford is and how they...
It would get refurbished, right?
But maybe they get the FA to pay for the refurbishment.
I think that would be the idea, right? Because you always get some money to make your stadium looking nicer for the competition.
I think this is an interesting call to make because somehow something tells me that, if you go to City and hey, City, we're considering the Etihad. Are you willing to refurbish it even more, even though it's pretty much brand spanking new and so close to the train station and whatever? And they'll say, yeah, sure, we'll put rolling walkways like they have in the airport, and we'll have like ushers in white gloves with gold hats and whatever. And whereas if you go to the Glazers and say, hey, do you want to spend a penny on the stadium? They'll go like,
yeah, where's the money from the government?
Yeah, how much will you pay us?
And then the last one will have to be the new Everton. Well, I mean, if he's brand new and he's finished on time and everything,
I would assume so.
Liverpool, yeah.
I would assume so. It's going to come down to, since Anfield's not there, you can make a case that Liverpool is so close to Manchester, you don't need one there. But again, rather than giving MK Dons, given that nobody lives in Milton Keynes,
on the list,
it's so close to London. I'm assuming this is just kind of a joke.
Yeah.
I think effectively it's going to come down to a third stadium in London, or much more likely Bramley-Moore Dock. And then while we're at it, if we think they're going to have, we know nothing about the other stadiums, but we assume the other venues are going to be Dublin.
Yeah, I think.
Cardiff, where there's a very nice stadium, and they have a very nice. The Aviva's very nice in Dublin too.
Yeah.
Hampden Park in Glasgow, not as nice. Could use a sprucing up between now and 2030.
Yeah, but
2028, and whatever they have in Belfast.
Yeah, Windsor
Arms Park, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Windsor Park, I think.
So, yeah.
Would you like the Euros 2028 in the UK and Ireland?
It's
too close to home a bit, and it's I saw it for the women's one. I was a bit like, it felt you're not always going to a Euros. Do you see what I mean? Because we go to competitions like that, we travel, we stay together. We're like,
very selfishly, first world problems. I like to go somewhere else for my Euros, and I feel that I was here obviously during the pandemics. I was glad that
that was a bit different.
2020 wasn't here, but essentially we were based here, right?
Yeah.
So, and then obviously we had the women's, and I would rather. The other country bidding for it, of course, is Turkey. I was in Istanbul just earlier this month. I think that would be a fantastic venue. I mean, Istanbul alone, apart from the fact that Istanbul's like a little country, it's so big, but you've got a bunch of tip-top stadiums. And by the way, my hotel, when I stayed in Istanbul, was effectively across the street from Besiktas Stadium, which you want to talk about sort of stunning visuals.
Yeah.
That's not where the Champions League final is. It's right on the banks of the Bosphorus. You take the ferry across. You see it looming over you as you arrive. It's fantastic.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.